Alright, everybody, and welcome back to the Inhabit Mars channel. Today, I want to go over an image that was from a video of Chris's. It's actually sent to me. I want to, let's see. This is the video that Chris had posted back in August 22nd of 2018. And the way I came about this video, I've seen this video before I watched it, and I always wanted to model this scene, but I never got around to it because at the time I was actually modeling. I was doing about a model a week. As he was putting out videos, I was modeling. He was putting out videos, I think, about once, twice a week, and I was trying to just keep up. And that was at a time when I was still driving truck, and I was able to actually do some modeling every night. On that note, as most of y'all probably already know, yeah, we've got a household infection here, COVID. Everybody has gotten it, and in fact, today we wound up taking someone in the household. Well, we didn't take her. We called the ambulance, and they took her to the hospital. I'm recording this for the second time. The first time Jenny popped in so you can see she was all right. I don't know if she'll pop in again, but hopefully she does. But I'm recording this again because I forgot to add the microphone to a scene. So hopefully we're having a good recording this time. But anyway, this scene actually comes from the Sojourner Rover. And this is the image here. Now, this is just a screen cap from his page. And the question that a lot of people were asking, did I say this? Okay, this was an email discussion between some pretty big names in ufology. And I don't want to mention the names because I haven't asked their permission to use them. But they got hold of one of Chris's videos. It happened to be this video. And the question was raised, first of all, you know, what are these structures that are in the mid-ground photo? And then, of course, what is this stuff in the background? Is it buildings? Is it a city? Or are these image artifacts? Those were the two main questions that were in this email discussion. All right. And so we're going to take a look. Now, I just barely started on the model. I tried to get more done today. I'm getting winded. In fact, just sitting here right now, I'm getting winded and dizzy. And just sitting in this chair, I was like, I'm not even doing anything. And I'm getting dizzy and I'm getting winded. So I still have not got a fever or anything, so that's good. I've not had a fever once. The first time I got COVID back in February of 2020. Hard to remember which year now. But anyway, last year, 2020. It was really bad. I mean, I was sick for 6 weeks, and I had a sinus infection on top of it, which I think was another blessing from COVID because all that crap was coming up, and I think it turned into a sinus infection, which just made it worse. And I was in bed for about 6 weeks. This time, though, I can't return to work till the 7th. They told me September 7th I can return back to work. It's not quite so bad, other than, like I had said, I think in the previous video, Monday, I got up out of bed. I felt fine. I took the girls out into the dining room. They wanted cereal, so I grabbed the cereal and I grabbed the milk out of the refrigerator. I set them on the table. I sat down in the chair. I was like, ooh, as soon as I poured the cereal, I was like, oh, my stomach feels kind of sour. So, well, I guess I won't be eating any cereal. I'll just pour enough for them. Poured the cereal, took the cap off the milk. Last thing I remember, I hit the floor. I had apparently, obviously, passed out. I hit the floor and I woke up. Few moments later, I don't even know. And the girls are saying, Daddy fell out of chair. Daddy fell out of chair. I'm like, huh? Well, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm just staring at them, standing above me at this point. And my wife, I start calling for my wife. She comes out of the room. She checks on me. She says, you know, what happened? I'm trying to explain what happened. I'm grabbing the table and the chair, and I'm sitting back up, leaning against the hutch that's right there. And I'm talking to her, and I passed out again. And both times I slammed this side of my face into the floor. Sure I've cracked that bone right there because it hurts like hell. Every time I eat, it hurts. And I got a knot on my head and a bruise on my back. So she sat me back up. She says, I'm going to call 911. I'm like, no, just put me back in bed. Just feed the girls, put me back in bed. I'll be fine. And, of course, that's where it ended. Well, today we wound up taking someone in our household to the hospital. Well, we didn't take her. We called the ambulance, and they took her. But anyway, she went to the hospital, and it's, you know, I haven't asked her permission. That's why I don't want to use her name. But like I say, we have several people in our household, and that one went to the hospital today. She was having trouble breathing, really bad trouble breathing. It started yesterday, and then today it just got a whole lot worse, and we wound up calling the ambulance, having them take her to the hospital. So she's got COVID and pneumonia. Now, Chris had double pneumonia, and I'm not sure what the difference is between double pneumonia and regular pneumonia, but she just has regular pneumonia, if that means anything. So, anyway, they're admitting her. Of course, we took her clothes up to her and her cell phone and things, and we're not allowed to visit her, and it's kind of sucks because we can't go see her, but it is what it is. So, all right, so let's get into this. I don't have a whole lot done. I really tried to get as much done as I could. I just got dizzy and winded and really didn't get any more. So here's our scene in Blender. And, I do want to show any of my Blender users out there. I want to show you a little trick. I don't know. You probably already know this. I didn't know this. Saw it in a video. Let's say that you have a object like this, and you want the back faces of your model so you don't have to fill it or anything like that. You just want to have one texture on one side, and then you want a different texture on the other. I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. This is not obviously a Blender training video. But so I wanted the inside of these to be dark, but I didn't want to have to model the inside. So the only thing that's actually modeled is this outside portion. And all you got to do, let me see if I can make this bigger so I can show you real quick. All right, can you see that? Well, yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so you want to take two shaders, all right? These are Principled BSDF shaders. And let's say you want one color to be white, and you want one to be black, which I did. I wanted the inside of these to be black. And you don't want to have to model it. So all you do is you take a mix shader. This is called a mix shader, and most people are probably familiar with that. But then you want to take a geometry node, all right, and go down here to where it shows back facing and plug back facing into the factor. Okay, without this, you're going to get both shades mixed together. All right, but if you take this back facing and plug it into the factor, then you wind up with your front faces. Okay, this is a shader for the front faces. Let me move that over. And you can add anything, image textures, whatever you want to this. And you can be more elaborate textures than mine. I just wanted the inside of these to be dark so you can see these. So that's the white that's on the outside. These are the front-facing faces. And then these are my back faces. And it's controlled just by this geometry node. So there's just a little tidbit for anybody who wants two different images or two different textures on a single object that really doesn't have any depth, but it gives it the appearance of having depth. Okay, let's get back to what I wanted to tell you about. Okay, so in this email discussion that was going around between these kind of big names in ufology, they were talking about two things specifically. Okay, and one was these: are these vehicles, or what are these things? And so Bruce included me in on the email, and I was like, hey, this is the image I wanted to do a long time ago and never got around to. And you can see Chris's pizza cursor that he had back then. This will tell you how old that video is. He had this pizza slice cursor. Anyway, so the first thing I want to show you is these. All right, and I haven't done these right here yet. These three windows, I got a lot to do. I got dizzy and I just couldn't do anymore. In fact, I'm dizzy right now sitting here, so I'm probably rambling too. But so I modeled these, and I modeled a couple of buildings in the background, and then I sent the email to him. I said, if I feel better tomorrow, I'll try to get more of it done. And I told him about this flat area right here. This area looks like it's been cleared, and leveled, and then right behind it are these buildings. And I believe that flat area comes up to right about here, although there's stuff in front that you can't really tell. But this area has definitely been cleared. I don't know if it's a landing strip. These are hangars. I don't know, but they seem to be buildings to me and not necessarily a vehicle. Now, they could be vehicles, and Chris, I think, thought there were vehicles, so he's a master. I don't doubt anything he says. I just, from my perspective, this is kind of what they look like. So I modeled these, and I just want to show you kind of what they look like. And this is them right here. And that gives you an idea. That's the first one. Okay. And that one is right here in the image. And then this is that second one. I'm not sure if it was just 3 doors or if this is a 4th door down here and this actually extends down. It looks like it kind of looks like it ends right there, but it's hard to tell. But I think it has this curved shape on that end too. So I modeled this one also, but with 4 hangar doors, if you will. And it seems to have this shape to it. At least on this end, you can really tell. You can see the curvature of it. And you can actually see some stuff behind it too. But you can see the curvature, and I believe it's curved like that on the other end too. So this is kind of what it looks like. And make sure I'm actually recording audio this time. But that's those. That was the one thing they were discussing. Okay? And I did model. It's a very low quality model, but it is actually there, so I guess I should show it to you. This is what I've got done of the Sojourner so far, and I got a lot to go on it, but that's just what I got so far. And one thing I want to bring up, I gotta move it over. Okay. There was a lot of discussion before, and I really don't have an answer. I thought I could get an answer on this. Chris did an update to this video. If I can find a link, I'll post it. But a lot of people pointed out this looked like a tiny person. Now, the Sojourner's not that big. I don't think it stands more than a couple of feet high. It's a very small rover. So if this is a person right here, which it very well could be. You can kind of see what looks like arms, legs, and it looks like he's reaching behind it because there's actually a piece of this rover, if I ever get around to finish modeling it, that comes out, across, and angles back, okay? And it does kind of look like this guy is getting pushed by the Sojourner up against this rock. I don't know if that's what it really is or not, but you could see what looks like a head, arms, their shoulders and legs. I don't know, but that was the discussion that went around about that by a different group, and not the group that was looking into this. And then, of course, we do have some objects in the foreground, which I'm getting around to modeling. I'm not done with it. I've got a long way to go on it, but that's just, I got the basic shape of it right now, and I'm Get ready to add a lot to it. We've seen this shape before, by the way. I've modeled this, and I thought about going back to my old models and just grabbing that. But I'm not sure if this front part is the same. But you can see here's the far edge over here. And here's the close edge right here. Then there's a little piece that either sticks on top or this is behind it. But either way, that's the top of the main portion. All right, and it is curved in the back. We can tell that at least just by some of the shadowing in the ground and everything, even though it's, as Chris would say, this looks like it's been taken with a potato. So let's get into this background stuff, because this is what they were really talking about, and this is what I wound up starting on towards the end when I was starting to feel bad. I was like, well, I can at least knock these out, because these are, well, some of these, I said, because these don't have any detail. It's just, you know, the textures, which is a very basic texture, and the shapes of the building. So the question was, are these image artifacts, or are these buildings from a city? Because obviously they're everywhere. Okay, first thing we have to understand how the picture was taken. Chris has talked a good bit about this, so I won't go into this in too much detail. When I say Chris, everybody knows I'm pretty sure I mean Chris from Mars Anomalies and beyond. If you haven't checked out his channel, there's always a link to his channel in my videos. Because that's where I get a lot of my stuff from, is some of his finds, and then I go through and try to find some more stuff and model it. Okay, but he's talked about the Z stacking, all right? And the Z stacking is basically how NASA takes these images. Now, it's not to hide anything or obfuscate anything per se. What it is for is, first, as in curiosity and perseverance, or perseverance, whichever way you want to pronounce it, the image is taken in 3 layers, generally 3 layers. Ooh, my hand got a little close. Woo. First, the rover will take the foreground image, which in this image I believe is somewhere, it cuts off somewhere in here. This is the actual foreground image. I should get up right here, right about through this area it seems to be, because you can almost see a difference in the focal length on the camera. So it takes an image of the foreground. Then it refocuses on this middle ground, and it takes an image of the middle ground. That's Z stacking. And then in this image, it's very clear. You could see a definite line between this middle ground and the background. And this is the 3rd layer of the image, where it takes an image of the background. It refocuses and takes that image. And you can really see it in this image. I mean, see the difference in focus? That's actually a little clearer than this background stuff in the middle ground. The back layer of the middle ground. See how it's a little more in focus? Okay, that's Z stacking. And then they composite it together into one image. And this way, everything is relatively in focus. And then the image is compressed and sent through the deep space network, if I can get that out. And then we get the potato quality images, and I'm sure the big wigs at NASA get the nice crystal clear images, the higher res images. Okay, so what we've got here is the question of whether this is image artifacting, or are these buildings, and this is a city. Now, I will tell you, I have looked at this image, and I have looked at it, and I've looked at it, and by my conclusion, these are not image artifacts. These are actual buildings. I can't believe that there's a city still standing plain as day on Mars, but maybe so. The reason I say that is there's some depth to this stuff. Now, this is Chris's image, and mine came out about the same way. In fact, when I get more into the video, I'll show my image. But if these are artifacts, then you've also got artifacts in front of artifacts. And it's not just in one place. See how these look like buildings? 3 buildings right here in front of this building. Okay, we've got that. And I actually started modeling these. They're right here. You can kind of see their shape. And these are just basic. I mean, there's nothing to it. And we have the same thing here. We have this, what looks like a big building here, and then these buildings actually sit in front of this other one, and so does this one. And you just see it all throughout this whole area. In fact, you see some of these that are closer, and these definitely look like buildings. In fact, let me move my models out of the way. So look at these in the foreground, and they actually angle off towards the distance. And it's all that way, as if these are city streets. In between these, like would be a city street, and in between these, see, these are front of buildings. And there's probably a street right there, and then there's this row of buildings. So I do not believe these are artifacts, image artifacts. We can get in closer. I don't want to get too close, obviously, because it'll just break up. But you can see depth to this stuff. And then look at his foreground stuff. You definitely see shapes in that. And that, to me, indicates that these are not image artifacts, that these are actual buildings. So we're going to get into that a lot more. So that's all I wanted to talk about, and I'm starting to model it and stuff. All right, 22 minutes. So listen, you guys, please, this COVID stuff is not a joke. Don't play around with it. If you have COVID and you start to have trouble breathing, or you start passing out and hitting the floor, go to the hospital. I'm doing a lot better. Like I say, I'm still getting dizzy and stuff like that, but I'm doing pretty good. So you guys, at 22 and a half minutes, so let's call this here, and then I'll try in the next day or two to get more of this done. And I'm also sending the images and stuff to the people in that email. So you guys have a good day, and hopefully I got everything recorded this time. All right, take care of yourselves.